What if I told you those age spots on your skin are not a harmless sign of getting older, but a visible warning that something inside your body is struggling? We've been conditioned to accept brown spots as normal. It's just aging. It's just sun damage. But your body doesn't randomly discolor itself for no reason. Biology doesn't work like that. When pigment starts clustering on your skin, it's not laziness. It's not bad luck. It's a response, a protective response. And when you understand what your body is trying to protect you from, everything changes. Here's the problem. Most treatments focus on bleaching the surface. Lasers burn it off. Creams fade it temporarily. But if the internal trigger is still there, the spots come back. Sometimes darker, sometimes faster. So the real question isn't, how do I remove age spots? The real question is, why is my body producing them in the first place? Today I'm going to show you the true root cause behind these spots and why stress, mineral imbalance, antioxidant depletion, and hormonal shifts play a far bigger role than you've ever been told. And once you see it, you won't be able to unsee it. Here's where most people get misled. We're told age spots are caused by one thing, sun exposure. And yes, ultraviolet light plays a role. But saying sun exposure is the cause is like saying smoke causes a fire alarm. It's not the root, it's the trigger. The real question is, why does your skin respond so aggressively to that trigger? Why does one person spend years in the sun and barely develop spots, while another develops dark patches seemingly overnight, especially during periods of stress, illness, or hormonal change? Because the issue is not just sunlight, it's your internal resilience. Most dermatology focuses on suppressing melanin, the pigment responsible for dark spots. Bleaching creams inhibit tyrosinase. Lasers break up pigment clusters. Chemical peels accelerate skin turnover. But none of these approaches ask the more important question. Why is your body overproducing melanin in the first place? Melanin is not your enemy. It's a protective shield. Your body increases melanin production when it senses oxidative stress, when free radicals are rising and antioxidant defenses are falling. And this is where the real root cause begins. As we age, and especially during chronic stress, menopause, poor sleep, nutrient deficiencies, or illness, our internal antioxidant systems weaken. One of the most important of these systems revolves around glutathione, often called the master antioxidant. Glutathione helps neutralize oxidative damage inside your cells. It also plays a critical role in regulating how melanin is produced and distributed. When glutathione levels drop, melanin production becomes more chaotic and more concentrated. Now add mineral imbalance to the equation. Selenium is essential for activating antioxidant enzymes. Zinc in copper must remain in balance to properly regulate pigmentation pathways. When these minerals are deficient or imbalanced, which is extremely common under chronic stress, pigment regulation becomes unstable. Hormonal shifts amplify this further. Estrogen fluctuations during perimenopause and menopause directly influence melanocyte activity, the very cells responsible for pigment production. This is why many women notice sudden pigmentation changes during these phases of life. So no, age spots are not just normal aging. They are signals. Signals that oxidative stress is rising, that antioxidant defenses are weakening, that mineral balance may be off, that hormonal regulation is shifting. Sunlight may pull the trigger, but the loaded gun is internal. And until that internal environment changes, surface treatments will always be temporary. Now let's break this down in a way that actually makes sense. Think of your skin like a security system. Its job is not to look pretty. Its job is to protect you. When ultraviolet light hits your skin, it creates something called oxidative stress. That's just a scientific way of saying unstable molecules, free radicals, start bouncing around inside your cells, damaging proteins, lipids, and even DNA. Your body hates instability, so it activates defense mode. One of the fastest protective responses your skin has is melanin production. Melanin acts like a biological umbrella. It absorbs and scatters UV radiation so it doesn't penetrate deeper and damage more critical structures. So far, that's normal. But here's where things change. Inside your cells, there's a delicate balance between oxidative stress and antioxidants. Imagine a scale. On one side, free radicals. On the other, antioxidants like glutathione. When the scale is balanced, pigment production stays even and controlled. But when oxidative stress outweighs antioxidant protection, that scale tips. Glutathione plays a fascinating role here. Not only does it neutralize free radicals, but it also influences which type of melanin your body produces. There are two primary forms: eumelanin, darker brown black pigment, and pheomelanin, lighter yellow-red pigment. Higher glutathione levels favor lighter, more evenly distributed pigment. Lower glutathione levels push the system toward darker, more concentrated pigment clusters. Now imagine what happens during chronic stress. Stress hormones like cortisol rise. Sleep declines. Inflammation increases. Your body consumes antioxidants faster than it can regenerate them. Over time, glutathione stores drop. Selenium-dependent enzymes that recycle antioxidants become less efficient. Zinc and copper ratios may shift. This doesn't cause instant spots, but it creates instability in the pigment regulation system. Then sunlight enters the picture. Instead of the smooth, evenly distributed melanin response, your melanocytes, the pigment-producing cells, begin firing unevenly. Certain clusters become overactive. Pigment starts depositing in concentrated patches. That's when you see a spot. Hormones complicate this further. Estrogen influences melanocyte sensitivity. During perimenopause and menopause, fluctuating estrogen can make these cells more reactive to stress signals. This is why pigmentation often accelerates during these transitions, even without increased sun exposure. There's another layer most people never consider: mitochondrial function. Your mitochondria are the energy factories inside your cells. When they become less efficient due to aging, toxin exposure, or chronic inflammation, they leak more free radicals. More free radicals mean more oxidative stress. More oxidative stress means more melanin signaling. You see how this becomes a cycle? Oxidative stress rises. Antioxidant defenses fall. Melanocytes overreact. Pigment clusters form. Surface treatments fade the pigment temporarily. But if oxidative stress remains high internally, the signal to produce more pigment never fully turns off. This is why some people remove age spots only to watch them slowly return. Because the skin wasn't malfunctioning, it was adapting. And once you understand that your pigmentation is a reflection of cellular stress, mineral balance, antioxidant capacity, and hormonal regulation, you stop seeing it as random aging and start seeing it as biological feedback. That's when real intervention becomes possible. Now that you understand the mechanism, let's talk about what you can actually do, not just to fade spots, but to change the internal environment that created them. Number one, rebuild your antioxidant capacity. If glutathione is low, pigment regulation becomes unstable. So the goal is not just applying something on your skin, it's supporting glutathione production internally. Focus on sulfur-rich foods: garlic, onions, cruciferous vegetables like broccoli, cauliflower, and Brussels sprouts. These provide the building blocks your body needs to produce glutathione. Ensure adequate selenium intake. Selenium activates key antioxidant enzymes. Brazil nuts are one of the richest sources. Just 1 or 2 per day is enough. Seafood and pasture-raised eggs are also excellent options. Vitamin C is critical as well. It helps recycle oxidized glutathione back into its active form. Whole food sources like citrus, kiwi, bell peppers, and berries are powerful here. Number 2, correct mineral balance. Zinc and copper must be in balance for proper pigment regulation. Chronic stress can deplete zinc while copper accumulates. Good zinc sources include oysters, red meat, pumpkin seeds, and legumes. If supplementing, do so carefully and avoid excessive doses without guidance. Mineral balance is subtle but powerful. When it's off, pigment control becomes erratic. Number 3, reduce chronic stress load. You cannot ignore this. Cortisol directly influences oxidative stress and antioxidant depletion. Poor sleep alone can lower your antioxidant defenses significantly. Prioritize consistent sleep cycles. Get morning sunlight exposure to regulate circadian rhythm. Practice stress-regulating habits, breath work, resistance training, walking outdoors. If stress remains high, pigment instability often follows. Number 4, support hormonal stability. If you're in perimenopause or menopause and noticing sudden pigmentation changes, understand this is not coincidence. Supporting estrogen balance through adequate protein intake, healthy fats, resistance training, and proper sleep can stabilize melanocyte sensitivity. Avoid extreme dieting. Severe calorie restriction increases stress hormones and worsens oxidative imbalance. Number 5, protect, but don't obsess with sunlight. Sunlight is a trigger, not the root cause, but that doesn't mean ignore it. Use mineral-based sunscreen when exposed for prolonged periods. Wear protective clothing during peak UV hours. But remember, blocking the sun without fixing the internal imbalance is only partial protection. Number 6, use targeted topicals strategically. Topical vitamin C can help reduce oxidative stress at the skin level. It complements internal antioxidant rebuilding. But understand this clearly. Topical solutions support the strategy. They do not replace internal correction. When you combine internal antioxidant repair, mineral balance, stress reduction, hormonal stability, and smart sun protection, pigment begins to regulate more evenly. Not because you forced it, but because you removed the reason it was overreacting in the first place. Now you can see that age spots are not random. They're not just cosmetic. They're signals of oxidative stress, mineral imbalance, and shifting hormones beneath the surface. But here's something even more important. Pigmentation is often just the visible tip of a much deeper issue. Cellular aging driven by chronic inflammation. If you really want to slow visible aging, you need to understand what inflammation is doing to your mitochondria, your collagen, and even your brain. In the next video, I'll break down exactly how chronic inflammation silently accelerates aging and what you can do to stop it. Go watch that now.